All right, today we're jumping into a really fascinating idea that's looking to kind of flip the script on charitable giving. It's called Gina Impact, and it's all about a simple but powerful concept. What if we rewarded generosity? Just think about it for a second. When you donate to a cause you really care about, it feels good, right? Of course it does. But what if that feeling was just the beginning? What if the act of giving actually kicked off a cycle where everyone benefits? Where generosity wasn't just a one-way gift, but a true two-way street? And that, right there, is the big idea behind Gina Impact. It's a system that's built to connect real-world impact with rewards, all powered by blockchain technology. The goal here is pretty ambitious, to use some cutting-edge tech to supercharge our timeless desire to help others and make a difference. Okay, so that sounds great, but how does this whole thing actually work? Well, to really get it, we need to look at two different paths that run side by side: the journey of the donor, who's giving, and the journey of the foundation that's receiving. Let's break them both down. Now, at the very heart of both of those journeys, the thing that makes the whole system go is something called the Genome Token. You can think of it as the fuel for the Gina Impact engine. It's a utility token, which just means its whole purpose is to work inside this ecosystem to reward people for participating and to keep that cycle of giving going. So let's start with you, the donor. The process is designed to be super simple. First, you give. You go to their platform, Gina Fund, and you can contribute using some pretty common cryptocurrencies. But here's the magic part. Just for doing that, you get rewarded with those GNIM tokens we were just talking about. And this is huge. Every single donation is recorded on-chain, making the whole process transparent. You're not just giving money, you're joining a community built on trust. I just mentioned that everything is recorded on-chain. So what does that actually mean? Well, put simply, it means the transaction is logged on a blockchain. Just think of it like a giant public digital receipt book that anyone in the world can look at and verify. It can't be changed, it can't be hidden. This is the tech that brings that radical transparency to Gina Impact. Okay, so what about the foundations? The ones doing the amazing work on the ground? Well, their journey is just as exciting. First, obviously, they get the direct funding from all the donations. But, and this is that two-way street we talked about, they also get rewarded with GIM tokens right alongside the donors. This gives them a real stake in the whole ecosystem's growth. And because everything is verifiable on-chain, it helps them build this incredible layer of trust with everyone who supports them. So you can see this is really designed from the ground up to be a win-win system. Let's actually put the benefits side by side, because when you see them together, it really clicks how this model creates value for absolutely everyone involved. Just look at this breakdown. It's so clear. For donors, you get to earn rewards just for making an impact, and you get to use a system that is completely transparent and traceable. For foundations, they get access to new sustainable funding, and they get a piece of the upside through the G9 token's future value. It totally aligns both sides around the same mission. It's not just a donation anymore, it's a real partnership. This all sounds fantastic, right? But it's a fair question to ask. Where is the project right now? It's really important to look at both the big, long-term vision and, what's happening on the ground today. And hey, in the spirit of that transparency we keep talking about, they're very upfront about this. The core donation to reward system is still being built. It's a work in progress. The vision is being actively turned into a reality, but it's not fully there yet. But you know what? They frame this early stage as a really unique opportunity. The idea is that by getting involved now, the first donors and foundations can actually help shape how this whole ecosystem develops. You get to be a co-creator, not just a user, and you can help speed up the whole project's adoption right from the start. So here's the main takeaway. While some of the tech is still being finalized, the mission itself is crystal clear and it is not changing. It all comes down to these three things. 1, get real funding to charitable projects. 2, empower the donors who make it happen with rewards. And 3, use those first 2 points to build a self-sustaining cycle of impact and growth. And that brings us to a final, pretty powerful thought. What Gina Impact is doing is proposing a pretty radical shift in how we think about charity. It's suggesting that by creating the right incentives, we can actually encourage more giving, more transparency, and more long-term impact. And so the big question it leaves us with is this: is rewarding generosity the future of charity? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.